Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is Force with some more Elder Scrolls Online. In today's video, I'd like to talk with you guys about the different ways to approach this game and also ask how you plan to approach it once the game launches in just a few days. Actually, will be the start of the early access. And the two different ways I'm talking about are the immersive and the informative. So I'm gonna break that down here in this video and then show you a bit of gameplay from both. So in designing this game, ZeniMax has really given us the option, at least as of recently in the past year, when they made the inclusion of the first-person hand animations and being able to see your weapons. They've really given us the option to approach this game from those two different perspectives. So we're gonna first take a look here at a playthrough. This is a little smaller dungeon delve experience. The particular name of this dungeon is the Vault of Hammon Forge Fire, and this is a tiny little dungeon delve that is found in Cold Harbor, which is the final level 45 to 50 zone before you move into the veteran rank content. So yes, here in this first playthrough, I'm gonna go through basically how I would play Skyrim, and that is going around opening up everything that we can. I'm not going to sit here and read all the books in front of you guys, but going around and opening things and interacting with the environment and playing in this sort of first-person immersive perspective. Also playing without the health bars, also playing without the target glow, a lot of the MMO, a lot of these sort of standard MMO features that are also included in this game, like I said, like the target glow, being able to see health bars, and then, you know, clearly playing in third person is a big MMO feature that is also in this game. In fact, how the game was originally designed, but they have included this as well. And I've covered this and shown this in a few videos, but I just really want to show sort of the level of depth that you can have with it. Now, it's not quite the same as in Skyrim or any of the other Elder Scrolls games. Like, for example, you'll notice here, I can't pick up that axe, I can't interact with that book, but there's a decent amount. I'd say that's what I'd phrase it as, a decent amount. And even looking at this bookshelf, if I was feeling, and this is a very Skyrim feeling dungeon delve, isn't it? But if this were Skyrim, you know, I'd be able to pick up those bowls and I'd be able to interact with that sack. But no, this is just a static bookshelf, and we can interact with one of said books on it by hitting E. But there are a lot. I mean, you've seen me, you know, I've been able to read that book. I was able to go through a lot of these different tomb urns. It's an interesting mix. I guess that's the phrase that I'll use. An interesting combination of the both. It's not quite as immersive as Skyrim. It's also not quite as informative as a lot of other MMOs. A real question, I think, for people is going to be, is it enough of either one? Or does it fall short too far in both of them to please neither crowd? And that's really, I think that's probably one of the biggest points of contention with this game. You know, when people talk about this game, there seems to be a lot of fever either for or against it. There seems to be a lot of, you know, just a lot of emotion behind people's feelings behind this game. And I can certainly understand that, because a combination of two really very differently playing types of RPG, the standard MMORPG and the immersive Elder Scrolls experience, to combine those two and to sort of provide a watered down version of both, I get why that sort of rubs a lot of people the wrong way. Oh, that guy is just running up in my face. So yes, it's a relatively small little dungeon area, so I'm just gonna go through this with you, starting off here in this first person perspective, show you as immersive an experience as I can. And then we're gonna go through a second time with all information displayed, even the use of, ooh, I picked up a racial motif. That is actually really rather exciting, because these are hard to come by. In the 250 hours plus that I've played of this game, I think I've only collected 4 of those things, and a few of them have been duplicates. So that's actually rather exciting. Very, very cool. Yeah, so I'm gonna go as immersive, as sort of traditional Elder Scrolls focused here as I can, trying to interact with everything and showing you exactly the things that you can, and then obviously the things that you can't interact with are clearly displayed, because there's just no option to interact with them. And then the gameplay itself, you know, without the inclusion of the crazy physics, it still does have that general sense of Elder Scrolls-y gameplay, but the lack of that certainly is going to leave much to be desired for some people, for the people who are solely fans of a traditional Elder Scrolls game. And you just witnessed a bit of a latency issue there with that mob not dying when it should have died. Alright, so see, it seems as if it's just pretty much mostly these small urns that I'm able to interact with, and then some of the bigger ones. But again, as you have been able to see, not all of them are interactable. So we're going to go in here. I'll use my ultimate. You'll also have noticed that I shut off the bar at the bottom, which displays my skills. And that is on purpose for the sake of this video. I don't think I'd ever really play with that because it's really important for me to see when my ultimate is charged up. And I do hope that they provide sort of another on-screen way of noticing that. Because for a lot of the various buffs and stuff, the game does show you right on the screen when you've buffed yourself up. For example, I can pop my armor buff here, and you're gonna notice there's a bit of a there's that glow around the health of the UI bar right there. So that alone, whether it be an on-screen effect or here we go, this one right here, you'll notice that I turned like translucent. So you're able to see your buffs sort of like you would in a single-player Elder Scrolls game through some of those UI elements, but not all information that you would want with the bar hidden is displayed. I think that my biggest gripe would be, with this type of experience, my biggest gripe would be the lack of information while hiding your hotbar at the bottom, the lack of information about when your ultimate is ready. Now, of course, people will argue, well, that's stupid. Why are you playing with your health? Why are you playing with your hotbar hidden? Again, I normally wouldn't, but for the sake of showing off something that feels more traditional single-player Elder Scrolls-y, I think it's important that they get all those aspects because, again, they are trying to please both those crowds, and they are trying to make this game appeal to both fans of regular MMOs and traditional single-player games. So we just have a little bit more. There's basically just this one more hallway in a room. This is a very, very small delve. It's actually one of the smaller delves that I've ever encountered, but I thought for the sake of this video it made a lot of sense because I'd be able to show you I'll just be able to quickly show you both perspectives. You also notice I do have AoE loot on. That is something that I left on just for the sake of convenience for this video. And we've got this little fire trap here. Just have to make sure that we just run over it when there's no fire there. Is that just a single person? Yeah, it is. All right, so let me do my charge here. So memorizing my skills, memorizing my hotbars is what allows me to cast these and know all my spells bound to 1 through 5. You're gonna notice here, those are the things. And normally that'd be displayed at the bottom if you're playing this with the information-based, the more information style of gameplay, which we'll be checking out in the second half here of this video. And it looks like, again, just the small urns. What the heck? Where did you... Okay, I saw someone at the top of the stairs, and then I walked to the top of the stairs, and I didn't see them anymore. Apparently, I was just completely blind or something. Let's heal ourselves up a little bit here. All right. Okay, so here we are in the final room of this little mini dungeon. And in this final room, we do have also a little boss. The first time I went through this dungeon, there's the sky shard. I think it's located right back there. Yeah, there it is. You can see it. See that little white shard down there? Now, when you haven't discovered a sky shard, there'll be that big glow. But if you come into this dungeon, just know there's a sky shard there. That's why I wanted to let you know. And then here's the little boss of Hammond Forgefire. I'm gonna let this guy cast a spell. And I'm gonna drop our ultimate. And we're gonna cast a few spells, do increased damage over time on him, do some area damage, and then switch, block his incoming attack. And there you go. Hammond Forgefire is dead. And that was our first look at a run through this dungeon with a more traditional single-player Elder Scrolls-y perspective. We could loot some of the stuff. We were able to engage in some first-person combat. Now let's go ahead and switch things up completely. Okay, so in the settings, the things I'm going to want to turn on include auto loot, and then we're going to want to go to interface. We will always show the action bar. We will show the quest tracker. We will show health bars, and we will turn on target glow and interactable glow. And then one last thing I'm also going to throw on are as much information as possible, add-ons. We're going to do the PSBT by Pocket. This is going to give us combat information. We're going to switch out into third person. And this will be a run completely focused on getting through the content as quickly as possible because, you know, MMOs, gotta zerg it, and playing with as much information on screen as possible. Actually, I think I need to reload UI. Yeah, I'm sorry. We don't have the Pocket add-on without the reload of the UI. There it is. Okay, so you're gonna notice the little numbers on the... So they changed the API. They've made it so that you can't see... They basically made it so that you can't see information about your enemy and you can't really see stuff about your short-term buffs, but you are able to get outgoing and incoming damage information that pertains directly to your player, as well as the icons. So you're gonna notice all of that on the screen. So this is more of how I play personally. This is more of how people who are more familiar with traditional MMORPGs are likely to play. It's just, I want that information. I want to see as much as possible. I want to see the surroundings of my character. I don't care about the immersion. I don't care about looting all this stuff that doesn't really matter to me. And also, usually just playing at a much quicker pace, just because that's sort of, I don't know, that's the mindset. You could obviously play in the first-person immersive perspective at a quicker pace, but yes and no, because if you're going around taking your time and looting, and if you're reading, then all those things increase the time of which it'll take for you to get through stuff. And for a lot of people, that's just fine. And for portions of this game, that is just fine. And that's actually, I mean, I don't know about you, but while it's not a perfect replica of the Elder Scrolls series, it's a hell of a lot more immersive and interesting and a lot closer to the Elder Scrolls series in terms of a more slow-paced, immersive type of gameplay than any other MMO that I've played in, well, I guess ever. And maybe that's my fault because, you know, you could argue, you could take it slower and be more immersed. Ooh, that might actually be a shield upgrade. Yes, it is. Well, that makes me quite happy. Look at that, picking up shield upgrades in our videos. You could certainly, if it's just about going slow and enjoying the world, you could certainly do that with any game. But I think they've designed this game in a way that it makes it so that not only can you do it, but it's also enjoyable. Just trimmed down. We're not gonna lie, okay? We're not gonna say it's exactly the same as Skyrim. No, it's quite clearly trimmed down. It is quite clearly not exactly the same. But I think it's a close second, and I think it is actually a pretty decent immersive experience if that is what you're looking for. So that then raises the question: how will you play the Elder Scrolls Online? You just saw an example going through a pretty small dungeon, a very small dungeon actually, a very small little dungeon delve, of both perspectives. Which way do you think you're gonna play the Elder Scrolls Online? And even if you aren't gonna play the other way, what do you think about it? What do you think about both perspectives? Third person, information, first person, immersive. How will you play the Elder Scrolls Online? And I'm just waiting for a boss respawn. And when he comes back, he's a dead man. Alright guys, thanks so much for watching this episode of some ESO gameplay footage and discussion. Stay tuned as we get close to the launch. I'm going to be putting up a couple of other videos, and then more importantly, once we've got that start of the early access, I do plan to live stream. I think we're going to do on Sunday for a good chunk of the day, so if you're interested in that, why don't you go ahead and tune in. Alright guys, thanks so much for watching. If you like the content, please subscribe, keep watching, and keep owning. There you go, look at that timing, alright. I'm not even going to be able to use my ultimate here, but I don't think it really matters much, because I'm just very fluid in the third-person perspective. Do that, decrease his health. Oh, he drops his own standard. Well, that's cute. I'm going to get you out of that, so I don't have to deal with it. And then we're going to stun you. I don't know why I walked all the way around. I also don't know why I'm bugged through the floor. That's fine. Nope. Dodging and weaving. Alright. I might get my, no, I probably won't get my ultimate up in this fight. It's fine, though. Gonna keep his health low again. And finish him off. Yeah, you're a dead man. Thank you for the badge.